was a pretty girl everybody knows.
If you travel to the small town of Grafton, head down a few dirt roads, you'll find a rather well-known musician filling his home with antique melodies.
Right through the lonely night, right through the day.
Skip Gorman loves history and music, which put him on an unusual mission to record and play songs written by cowboys more than 100 years ago. So when you heard these songs for the first time, you just felt something in you like, I really like this.
Yeah, and it was all acoustic, you know, it wasn't jazz and swing, it was nobody plugged in, it was just real old stuff.
Skip Gorman is a well-known name on the folk and bluegrass circuits, and his home has the country feel you'd expect. Sweeping mountain views on the outside, and inside, a museum of dusty memories.
I was in Wyoming about 40 miles out on horseback, and that was on the ground.
He's collected a lot over the years, taking part in cattle drives out west, that's him on the horse, and from performing around the world, often dressed as a cowboy in his trademark favorite hat. It's all to get in the spirit of life on the prairies out west, when cowboys would make up songs for entertainment and to tell their stories.
Boys, send my mother my wages, the wages I have earned. For I am afraid, boy, the last steer I've turned. I'm more focused on taking the old songs, the old ballads, and trying to make them sound like something to my own ear. Yeah. You know, I'm not out to please Hollywood or Nashville at all. I guess I'm kind of proud of that.
To recreate those old songs, Skip sings and plays guitar, mandolin, and fiddle.
There are a lot of fiddles out there because you could put them in a wagon and take them out, you know. But a lot of these people who played were not trained in music. You know, they couldn't read music.
Skip grew up in Rhode Island. Introduced to music at an early age, he loved the old-time stuff and playing songs he heard on records.
I had friends who just happened to like it too. It was during the folk boom. And one friend would play a banjo and another friend would do this, and it became kind of athletic.
As a teenager living close to the Newport Folk Festival, he was exposed to big country music stars. A young Skip was in heaven, especially when he got to play with his hero, Bill Monroe, considered by many to be the father of bluegrass.
The first time I was 18, I was a nervous wreck because he no mercy. You know, I sensed that he was, when he saw that I could play, he came after me. She rode up to the wagon when the sun was sinking down.
It would help launch a successful career in music. Skip has recorded hundreds of songs, played with world-class musicians, studied Celtic music in Ireland, played the National Folk Festival, and even once appeared in a movie about the most famous cowboy song.
Florence Pulver has an article in her scrapbook saying that Home on the Range was written in Smith County in the 1870s.
It wasn't his only brush with the big screen. Skip thought his songs would be perfect in a documentary made by another New Hampshire resident, Ken Burns. He pitched the idea, and they said yes. His music would go on to be featured in 5 Ken Burns documentaries and counting.
My favorite thing to do is go to a house concert where there's 30 or 40 people sitting in the living room enjoying potluck. I like feeling up close to people. I like performing when they're nearby.
Or a click away. He started a series of performances online, too.
And welcome to the second edition of the Saturday Morning Old Style Mandolin Number.
More than 100 years after cowboys sat around a fire singing their stories, Skip Gorman has found a way to keep listeners on the trail of old-time music.
Weep all you fallen rains, wail winds wail, all along the Colorado Trail. I hope they enjoy hearing something that they'd never hear on the radio. Just hoping that they'll think about what happened in this country before they were born.